Hey guys, it's Vulnerable Monday with Mo, and this is my second video today. The first one I pushed towards my playlist, Mindfulness Monday, because I was just really hyped up on caffeine. Like extra hype up. To the place of like ADHD. Anyhow, I just didn't feel like I was vulnerable enough. I was really caffeinated. Seriously caffeinated. Yeah. Um, So I've calmed down, although I do have sweet tea in front of me, so I'm still caffeinated. Anywho, um, but I'm calmer now. I'm actually gonna pull a crystal real quick. Pull a couple crystals. All right, there we go. I had to get a crystal in my hand. I like to doodle something, but I changed the scenery. I'm actually very much in love with my new scenery and this new perspective. In my last video, I spoke of the last video I did today, early this morning. I spoke on how I changed my perspective of my room, and I wanted my office space and my bedroom to be in the same, because a lot of my story happens in my bedroom, and I wanted that perspective back, but in like a new, refreshing way to add those details into my story and my book, but also it's just inspiring to be here. I'm in my own little corner. And for me, my own little corner, which just like a shout out to Brandy and her version of Cinderella, where she sings a song, in my own little corner, in my own little chair, I can be whoever I want to be. To this day, I love that song, and it reminds me right now, I wanted to be in the corner. You know, my most recent office was like my living room office mix, and I was nice, but it's very cluttered, and I have a 5-year-old, so there's toys everywhere, and it's just chaotic. Whereas in my room, there's a little bit more rules in my room. For example, she's not allowed to have toys in my room. Unless it's her Tigger and she's coming to sleep with me, there's not allowed to have toys in my room. And so, like, my room is truly my sanctuary. It's clean, organized. I just like did a major feng shui of my room, so it just has a new energy and presence about it. And like right now, as I'm talking, the reason I keep looking out is because I'm literally looking out my window over the lake that I live, and it's just very peaceful. I'm just like, ah, it's just it's like very cozy, very comfortable, and I just wanted my corner back. I feel so comfortable in my corner. I've always been that way. Always been that way. I like corners, whether it's the corner of the room or sitting in my car. My car's like a corner, right? It's your bubble. Like no one can touch you when you were in your car. Anywho, so getting on to Vulnerable Monday, there's just a lot going on in my head. I've made a lot of pivots and changes over the last week. Last week I spoke on pivots, and then I also had like a nice little like speech on bullying as well last week. And if you were also on my Facebook page, you would have seen there was also a specific targeted audience that I also did a very vulnerable, very, very vulnerable video for as well. And so, as I'm sitting here in my room and getting work done today and checking everything off my list of things I have got to get done today, I am in this space of needing to know how to live my life again. Well, what do you mean? You're so, like, optimistic, and you fall into love quickly, and, you know, you've kind of, like, showed us you are living, sometimes a little recklessly, but you're living. I'm like, yeah, but am I, though? Am I really living? Or am I living with the comfortability of having certain patterns repeat themselves in my life? Because that's what I think it is. That's what I think it is. 100%. That is what I think it is. I'm not living anymore. Matter of fact, I have extreme social anxiety, which for my friends out there who watch these videos, they're like, huh? You are like the most networked person, social butterfly I have ever met. And I've heard that many times over by my friends. Like, I know. I know. I thrive on networking. I thrive on shaking hands. I thrive on connecting people. I thrive being in the community. Like, I genuinely thrive in that. But as I started isolating myself and went through some really dark days and was really invested in myself over the last several months, I stopped thriving in the community. I stopped thriving being out in public, and to a point that now that I've isolated for so long and I've put myself in my bubble for so long, I have social anxiety now. I have built up anxiety to be out in public. Some of it may be the bullies, yes, but that's never stopped me before. That's key. I have to remind myself. I've always had bullies, and it's never stopped me before, but this time's different. It has stopped me, which is, I've got to stop that. And I've just, like, been in this funk. Not in, like, necessarily a bad way, but I'm now at this space and this place of life where I'm like, all right, I'm pivoting. I've feng shuied my house. I've cleansed the energy in my whole home. I have taken back the energy of my home. I've taken myself back, right? I've put into place that this home is mine, and I've taken back my control. In the meantime, while going through these processes, while awakening in my healing journey, and while going through the spiritual awakening, and while going through all these other little details of my life and unfolding and evolving and changing, I've forgotten how to live. I've been so focused on, like, okay, I'm in my healing journey. Okay, I'm in my spiritual awakening. Okay, I am recognizing my inner superpowers. Okay, I am letting go and releasing trauma. Okay, I'm going through a season of forgiveness. Okay, I'm going through a season of isolation. It's like I have this to-do list as though I'm in school and I'm checking everything off a box, right? I'm like, okay, all right, I'm doing it. Am I growing that mindset? Am I doing it? I'm doing it. Check, right? But in the meantime, while checking off all these boxes, I have literally forgotten to live. I have forgotten to live. And I've gotten so comfortable with making decisions that seem comfortable, that seem predictable, right? That seem to work well for the cautious mindset that I have acquired over time, that I have fully forgotten to live. Like, what does Mo love to do? What are things that really help Mo thrive and be alive? Where is all that? Well, I'll tell you what, I left it in a drawer and I locked it. All the things that help me feel alive outside of this journey, I have locked it up, put it away. I should never. Because see, Mo loves to travel. Mo loves to be around friends, loves a good laugh. But now Mo is so dense. I want to say, like, I'm very dense right now. My soul is very heavy because I'm just really pushing the envelope in the ways that I'm changing and evolving. But in time, I've forgotten to do the things that I really love, like road trips or visiting friends in other states or family. I have forgotten to stop caring what other people think, because who really cares? Like, my book, it's called Fuck It for a reason, because who fucking cares? But I started to care. So much so that it's brought on such a social anxiety because I don't want to face anybody. Which is stupid. That's not living. I can't come home every fucking day and be like, yep, I can't go out tonight. I want to be whispered about. I don't want the dirty looks. I don't want the negativity. I'll just stay home. No, fuck it. Get in the mindset that you could go out there, live your best life, surround yourself with your soul tribe, be around people who genuinely love you, support you, and go live your best life. Who gives a fuck about the negativity and the bullies and the whispers? Who gives a fuck? Who gives a fuck? Go out and live. Start smiling again. Start reminding yourself why you've always had such a brave, bold soul. Because I may have had many changes in my life, and I may not be as reckless as I used to be, but that brave old soul is still in me. That's why I can be successful. That brave, bold soul is why I can be successful. Because I'm not out there wanting to be in a pattern of black and white. I've always been a rainbow. I've known that in myself for a very long time. But I've given up. Yeah. I've put so much heart and soul into this healing, into my awakening, into my failures that really just struck my ego to a point that it no longer existed. And I forgot to fucking live. Like, when was the last time that I stayed up after midnight on a weeknight just because I was enjoying a TV show or friends' company, or just the fact that, I'm a single mom, so sometimes my daughter's with her dad, or it's just happy to say my daughter's with her dad. Why not stay up and enjoy that time instead of being so strict on my schedule? But I've been so strict on myself, so strict, that little things like staying up past midnight, being home by 1, seem like reasonable things to be strict on, but that also pulls you back from not really living. There's a difference between being reckless and just having fun. And personally, I have honestly felt like I have forgotten what it's like to have fun. I'm constantly in a heavy mindset, whether, it's motherhood, whether it's being a good friend, whether it's my business, projects, the side hustles, jobs. I'm constantly in this push and push and push that I've forgotten sometimes that it's okay to just empty your mind and have a little fun. Have fun. Get silly, play games, get into some crafts and hobbies. Have some fun. You don't have to always be serious all the time. And that's really what's boiled down to, is I've gotten serious all the time. I've gotten serious about my journey. I've gotten serious about my awakening. I've gotten serious about breaking old patterns. I've gotten serious about this growth mindset, so much so that I have forgotten about living. It's like the repetitive thing. What are things that bring me genuine joy? I had to think about that for a while, and I was like, well, I love art. Man, do I love art. I actually like craft projects. I like to draw, and I like to paint. I love music, which is something I've brought back into my bedroom. Now that I've shifted everything, I put in this Bluetooth speaker in my room. So in the evenings, instead of watching TV after my daughter goes to bed, I have started to get back into that routine where I used to really enjoy putting music on and reading a book and just being in my space. Sometimes it's a magazine, sometimes it's a book, but just being in that space where I'm just listening to music and just that simplicity of doing nothing but doing something, I've missed. I'm starting to bring that back. I recently got, some of you may know, I love Stitch. If you don't know, you do know now. I absolutely love Stitch. He's my favorite character of Disney ever. And I collect a lot of Stitch things that now my daughter has, so it kind of looks like everything that is Stitch related is my daughter's, but the reality is they were mine that I gave to my daughter. They were mine before I had her. I love Stitch. In any case, there's these bedazzled posters you can get, and you just put these little diamonds in it, bedazzles. And I got one of those in the mail recently. I was like, no, I'm going to start doing that. I'm going to build on those projects. My Aunt Cindy got me the neatest sketching journal for me to get back into sketching. It's like she knew without even knowing that I need to get back into some hobbies that brought me joy. And that came in the mail. So I'm going to start doing that. So it's like I'm checking off now things that, like, what are things that actually bring me joy? Not the things I need to be working on, not the growth mindset, not the healing journey, like what are things that are genuinely bringing me joy? Right? And I feel like once I start really implanting these little pieces of myself back into myself that are part of living and a part of having fun and excitement and enjoyment, is it's actually going to help with my creativity. It's going to help me get to a space to get the book done. That would be. And to be here more present for you all. I mean, that's the key. It's like now you get to this space in your healing journey where you can look yourself in the mirror and be like, okay, I've done the work. I can see something different. And that actually happened to me a couple weekends ago already. Was it a couple weekends ago? Yeah. A couple weekends ago when I made a very strong, serious decision that was a huge, huge pivot in my life. And it did break someone's heart that does have a heart of gold. It shattered that person's heart, and it's something I have to forgive myself for the decision I made, but I knew I needed to make it because I knew I wasn't on the path that I truly need to be on right now, and I needed to show up for myself. That was key. Nonetheless, it was like 72 hours after making this decision, and I looked at myself in the full body mirror, and I was like, holy shit. There she is. I don't know what it was. It was like this moment. That's how I'm going to call it. This like just like angels. And I looked at myself in the full body mirror, and I genuinely saw myself. Like, for the first fucking time, I saw myself. I was like, oh shit, there she is. Oh, I've missed you. That's what you look like. Huh. You're hot. Yeah, you're hot. It's okay to call yourself hot. That's not like being cocky, okay? You need to call yourself hot. You need to call yourself beautiful. You need to call yourself a badass. You need to call yourself a superhero. You need to call yourself pretty. You need to call yourself all these things. It's just important to do. You need to call yourself all these beautiful things. Especially the badass part. You need to tell yourself every day in the freaking mirror, I'm a fucking badass. Just start every day. I'm a badass. And just the day will roll together. But I had this like moment in this major pivot a couple weeks ago where I genuinely saw myself for the first time in the mirror, and I was like, oh fuck, she's there, finally. And unfortunately, yes, it did take a moment where I had to do such an extreme pivot that it did affect a lot of people. And I definitely probably burnt some bridges while making these decisions. And I take full responsibility for that. But I was in a space where it's like, I'm not in my calling, and I have so much more to offer, and I need to be in a space where I'm not tied down and I can literally allow my wings to fly. Allow my wings to fly like a freaking phoenix. I need to fly like a fucking phoenix. I needed to, and I felt like I wasn't there yet. I was still becoming a phoenix. To rise like a phoenix. I was still becoming the phoenix to rise. And now, like, it's been 10 days, and I'm just like, wow, like, I'm getting somewhere. I'm getting somewhere. I really feel like I am in a space that I'm daring greatly and making the pivots and changes in my life to better my daughter's life, to better my life, to make the most of today so that tomorrow is even better. But I had to listen to that inner voice. And that was key. And I also had to recognize that a healing journey is the destination. There is no full destination to the healing journey. The journey will always be there. But how it comes out is going to be different the more you evolve and change. There will be different energy within your healing journey as you go. But there will always be something to heal from. I spoke on last week how I was dealing with some bullies in the town that I am currently living in, and it was really taking a toll on me. And it was also really affecting my social anxiety. And I've had to still work on that right now, even today. I had a really beautiful, positive coffee break this morning. Not lunch, coffee break this morning. Hence the 3 cappuccinos before 10, and then the ecstatic, energetic mindfulness mo earlier in my first video of the day. I was so hyped up on caffeine. Anyways, I was talking with her, and she made something very clear, which I didn't see because I was so wrapped up in the whispers. So wrapped up in the whispers. I was genuinely caring. It was taking like a heaviness on me. And at the same time, it was really pushing me to, like, it was also pushing me to stand up for myself and to make some very vulnerable videos last week to be like, hell no. I've been through the fucking pits of hell. You don't have a right to say anything that you don't fully know. And granted, everyone's always going to talk. That's the reality. Everyone has a whisper. Everyone does. Because no one can stay out of everyone's business. Everyone has to be in their business in some form or fashion. There's always people that will always try to be in your business. And so I was at this coffee this morning, and I was opening up. And I'm like, hey, I'm now at this space where I'm taking full responsibility of everything that has happened in my life, which is honestly like taking my power back. When you take full responsibility, you take your power back. But then I was speaking on these whispers, and she said, your soul tribe will always be there. And when you realize that your soul tribe is there and you're surrounding yourself with really good people and really good energy, the whispers will start to really fade. Because it won't matter anymore. The whispers won't matter the more you surround yourself with good people and good souls who recognize the hard work and dedication you've gone through, who recognize this journey. On top of which, I had to be reminded this morning too to be kind to myself. I think that's something we so easily forget to do, is to be kind to ourselves when we're going through such heaviness and transitions and pivots. Is we get so wrapped up in the actions and so wrapped up in our mind, making sure we're making all the right moves for that growth in our mindset, that we can sometimes tend to be a little too harsh on ourselves. And I was definitely in that space. I was like, and to be reminded that I'm saying this out loud to remind you, when we are evolving, when we're in our space, when we're getting ourselves out of a dark time, it's easy for us to be our worst critic, right? It's easy for us to almost, in a sense, torment our own self because we know how to be the most cruel to ourselves. We know our own triggers. It's important to be kind to ourselves. And when we do this, when we are kind to ourselves, it opens up a new energy in our soul. It does. So much so that when we are kind to ourselves, we are creating our own calm in our mind. We are creating a space for rest, for relaxation, for rejuvenation. And that's something I had to remind myself. Because yes, I have, especially over the last 10 days, have put myself through an extreme shift. And because of this extreme shift too, I'm risking a lot right now. But I know these risks are all going to pay off in time. They will all pay off. So as you're going through your healing and you're listening to this journey I'm on and you're anticipating to flip through the pages of the book, here are some things I would love for you to work on yourself. The kindness in your soul needs to come out for you first. Make those affirmations. Create those daily affirmations that bring calm to your soul, that bring kindness and love to your soul. Yes, during any type of journey, spiritually healing, we do start to take full responsibility for a lot, because we are healing old wounds and we are recognizing those traumas and we are forgiving ourselves as well as others and releasing it all. And so what I would love for you to do this week is really focus on that kindness for yourself. And also make a list of things that are part of simply living, thriving. Because that's something I've been missing and I'm just now getting back into. And I mean like over the last 10 days just getting back to. Like, well, I stopped living. Holy crap, I stopped living. I was so focused on all of these other details. I genuinely stopped fully living. What brings me joy? Is it the long car rides? Is it crafts and art projects? Is it music? What fills my soul so I can be present here for you every Monday? How am I filling my soul up? So how are you filling your soul up? What are you doing outside of this hard work and this growth mindset that is really fulfilling your soul, bringing you joy, bringing you kindness and love? Really, what do you think on that this week? And if you feel like you need to change your perspective on things and see it from a different angle, I encourage you to do that. I had to do that this past week. To get to this space where I'm asking you right now, how are you living your life? I had to feng shui my house. I had to get to that space. I'm like, okay, this is how I look at my home right now. What can I do differently so I'm looking at the angle of this home differently so it continues to be my oasis? My oasis. And I came to the conclusion that I needed to rearrange every room of this house and create a space that really felt like I am in my power when I'm home. It's my sanctuary, as everyone's home should be. And if it's not, continue to work on yourself and continue to work on what is happening in your life to make a space for your sanctuary. Sometimes with life, our sanctuary can't be our home, but it can certainly be our office. It can certainly be in our car. Hell, some of us, our sanctuary certainly could be that gym time that we get once a day. We go to the gym and that treadmill is ours. Or whatever exercise routine you do, like that time is mine. That yoga studio, that's my sanctuary right now. But everyone should find that sanctuary. I'm blessed right now that my sanctuary is my home. But I understand that everyone can have that peaceful space, that home can be their sanctuary right now. Maybe it's just not the timing for it to be. Maybe it's somewhere else. Just promise me the sanctuary is not a bar. Make sure that sanctuary is somewhere where you actually fully are fulfilling your mindfulness growth, your mindset growth. Not with alcohol, but actually like pushing yourself forward. So look at those perspectives of your life. Recognize how far you have come in your healing journey. Recognize your own awakening. Recognize your strengths. And I will be here next week for another Vulnerable Mondays with Mo. I appreciate you guys listening, and I hope you have a beautiful week. Keep going. Fuck it. Keep going. You got this. Bye, guys.